Tonight's video has clips on how to make your own homemade whipped cream. So for whether it's coffee or pumpkin pie or some other dessert that you're using whipped cream that you would normally use Cool Whip, you can make your own. It also features a clip where I explain how I save money on orange juice, which is something my husband drinks 7 days a week, by looking for oranges in bag, like a 2-pound, 3-pound, 5-pound bag that's going for a good price. And I squeeze our own orange juice, fresh orange juice in that for the week. Instead of paying $4.64, I may pay as little as $2. So that's how I save some money with that. There's other food clips, just me cooking and stuff like that. I know there are folks out there that like to see cooking videos or cooking clips and that, so I've included some of those. Thanks for all the love on my recent videos and that. I did get a couple of comments about now that I'm over 2,000, am I going to have lots of ads or promotions or whatever? No, I'm not. I'm a small channel. I'm likely to stay a small channel. I like my interaction with my audience and that, and I'm always going to have the same type of videos that I've always had. So I just want to make sure everyone knows that. I have had a couple of companies that have reached out, and that's nice. I mean, when you do work in that and you get paid for it, that's a great feeling. But other than that, I enjoy making videos, and they'll stay the same that they've always been. Talking about budgets, talking about finances, talking about meal planning, meal prep, and showing you cooking videos. So tonight's meal is leftovers. So that's what the video is about, using things up. I'll show you where we're at in the prep for Thanksgiving, which is just 3 days away. But this is left over from last night's meal. Some potatoes. We're going to fry those up with some kale. My husband wants a little bit of spinach. There was like maybe 3 pieces of carrot left. There's some chicken left from 2 roasted chickens that I did for myself. I'm going to be having a grilled cheese sandwich and soup. So we're using these leftovers up before we have more. Okay, I'm going to make some homemade whipped cream. So I've got 8 ounces of heavy whipping cream or heavy whipped cream from Walmart. And now I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons of powdered sugar. I'm going to turn the mixer on and whip it up. Okay, our homemade whipped topping is reasonably thick, I think. So it's done. Then I'm going to be making a pumpkin pie. So let's make a pumpkin pie on Saturday night. First I'm going to get myself a cup of coffee, and then I'll start. Okay, Monday dinner meal prep. So I thought I had packaged off these pork chops into separate servings, so 2 in each package. Turns out that I didn't, so when I thawed it, which I should have been able to tell the difference, but I had my husband take it out of the freezer for me and set it in the refrigerator, and when I took it out of the refrigerator to start cooking, I noticed it was all of the pork chops. So that's fine, they had all thawed. I'll cook them all up. And then we'll have 2 for Monday evening's dinner with, we've got some slow-cooked potatoes and green beans. And then I'll freeze the rest of them and take them out within the next 2 weeks and just warm them all the way through till they're warm to a safe temperature. And we'll eat them with another meal, probably some mashed potatoes and gravy, or when we have guests in and that, we should still have 4. I've got a friend of mine that's going to come for dinner. So I'll probably have a couple of pork chops with her over some rice or something like that. And I've made a pumpkin pie and I've made a cheesecake. So we've got some great desserts, if anything. So that is the beginning of this week's meal prep. And people ask me all the time how we keep decreasing our grocery budget or keep our grocery budget low. And one of the ways is I find out when, looking on the Walmart site or Aldi site when oranges are inexpensive, and I buy a bag and I bring it home and I juice them in this. I think influencer or fellow YouTuber told me about this juicer probably 2 or 3 years ago, and it's easy to clean, easy to use, does the job, does it really well actually. So it's a Eurolux. It's available on Amazon. I think it was under $20 when I bought it. So I probably juice a bag of oranges every couple of months when they're at an affordable price. These over here, of course, are from Sam's, so they were $1 a pound. Not an affordable price, but yeah, we get 32 ounces is about $8 here. 16 ounces usually is $4.64 at Walmart. So I've got 20 ounces here that I paid $2.60 for. And this is some of Thursday's meal prep. So I bought a big container of kale at Target, I think it was. It was large. It was maybe 2 pounds, 3 pounds, and it was under $4. So it'll be several meals, but one of the meals will be Thanksgiving. So some kale, and then first I've just kind of like parboiled it, and then I'm going to cook it in some olive oil, and then my husband likes to smash it into his mashed potatoes. So that's what he likes, so he's going to have that. Some sweet potatoes as a side. Here's some kale. Like I said, it was a large box, so I've got that. We'll either have that on Thanksgiving, or I will freeze it. It works fine. You thaw it out, and then you can saute it and mix it through potatoes like my husband does, or stuffing, or just eat it as a side. Still some veggies that I need to cook up, so I'm going to take some of these tomatoes and kind of stew the tomatoes. So just heat them, cook them with some water, some olive oil, some salt, and some pepper to cook them down. And then I add a little bit of tomato paste to it, and it's kind of a tomatoey sauce for my ratatouille, zucchini and summer squash for it, and an eggplant. So we're going to have some of that as well. I roasted 2 chickens on Sunday. So to make room for the turkey, to put that in the freezer, and I'll take the turkey back out on Tuesday. It'll thaw on Tuesday and on Wednesday, and it'll be ready to go into the oven on Thursday. And then on Thursday, it'll be in the oven. I go and volunteer while the turkey's cooking, and then I'm home by the time that the turkey is done, and I serve a meal. It'll just be my husband and I, as I've already cooked Thanksgiving dinner this weekend for friends that were in town. So it'll just be my husband and I on Thanksgiving Day, and then I will go back and wrap up things volunteering. For those that may not have seen the video or may be new to the channel, I've volunteered now for close to 12 years, and I not only volunteer at a food pantry but also at a food kitchen. So it's part of a kind of a routine that I designed, or part of a something that I designed to work along with my sobriety. So it's part of my commitment to sobriety, and I've done it now for 12 years. So there is some meal prep. And here's some prep work for the ratatouille. So here's tomatoes that I stew down, and I take that tomato juice. I actually cook the tomatoes all the way down till really all that's left is the core and the skin. And then I sieve it, put it through a strainer so that I just get the juice and no seeds. And then I add it to this, which is cooking right now. I want this to be nice and browned and nice and crisp on at least 1 or 2 sides, 3 if possible. And then I cook down some carrots, and I cook down some squash, the cube squash that I buy frozen from Aldi. So I cook it first, and then I cook it down, or fry it. I cook the carrots, and then I also add them here so they get fried a little tiny bit, or a little browned on the one side. And then when everything's nice and browned up and some sides are crisp, I add the juice. And that's how we like it. The eggplant is also in here. And then some salt and pepper. And this is usually our vegetable dish a couple of times a week. We may add different. I sometimes add green beans or corn, and then I just call it a stir fry. But we like to have at least 2 vegetable dishes a week. It cuts down on our grocery bill. You know, it helps us economize a little bit by having 2 meals that have absolutely no meat in them. And the vegetables in that, all purchased. I think the tomatoes was a big container at Sam's that I got here probably 2.5 weeks ago. It's finally time to use them. And I think that they were $6.39 or $6.89. And there was 10 large tomatoes in it. And the zucchini were all $69.98, and the eggplant we got for $1.29. So when we add the carrots, which were $1.08 for a 1 pound bag that had like 5 carrots in it, and I add the frozen butternut squash, which will be cooked down and then added to this fry pan or skillet, you probably got, I don't know, $4, $5, $6, $8, and we'll have with the rice 2 meals one night and 2 meals the next. So it's a very budget-friendly meal, and we love it. And there's where we're at. Turkey is in there, thawing. He'll be ready by, he or she or it will be ready by the day. And like I said in my video, I will have everything all prepped up, put it in the oven, and then I drive about 40 minutes away, and I work in a kitchen that's associated with a shelter for families, for mothers and children, and it's a kitchen, but we will be serving to the public. So it'll be busy, quite busy. We've got lots of food ordered, lots of food that we're prepping this week. Generally year-round, at least for the last 10, 12 years. For sure for the last 10 years I've done it full-time, so close to 25, 30 hours a week during the holiday season, which starts about 2 weeks before Thanksgiving and ends about 2 weeks after Christmas. So I make sure that I put in as many hours as I can, and even when I start my new job in January, I'll still be volunteering on Saturdays. So I'll get that ready and get that prepped and have my husband peel potatoes and stuff, and we'll get that in the oven, and then I will relieve somebody when they go home on break, and then someone will relieve me, and I'll come home and eat some turkey with my husband and go back and help with cleanup. So there it sits, of course, with other groceries and stuff like that. I'll be doing a refrigerator tour this next couple videos and that before I go shopping for the month of December.